In this presentation, we will compare the culture and strategies of both Toyota and General Motors and illustrate how their values are reflected in their strategies. By making these connections, we will demonstrate how the company's different values affect their strategies and their international success. Before making these connections, we will begin by discussing the history of Toyota, its core beliefs, and what Toyota has become today. To reflect the company's values and strategies, we will discuss the famous Toyota production system, their case focus, new vehicles and technologies, and philanthropic activities. Comparatively, we will discuss the history of General Motors and its survival of the financial crisis in 2008. We will discuss GM's focus on domestic investment and their vision for a safer, cleaner, and more efficient future. Similar to Toyota, we will discuss their notable vehicles and technologies. By discussing GM's international operations, we will observe their current performance in the international markets and finish by discussing their philanthropic activities as well. Within these contexts, we will directly compare the results of the two companies' efforts and how these efforts affect international expansion.
To begin, we discuss Toyota's origins. In 1920, Sakashi Toyota looked to develop a method to ease the burdens of his mother, a weaver who worked tirelessly on her loom. As the son of a carpenter, Sakashi was equipped with the skills and tools to design and invent and develop a new loom that could be used with one hand, acting as a prototype for the Type G automatic loom, designed to remove the abnormalities of job performance, such as replacing thread and mitigating the risks of cotton dust for employees. Sakashi would eventually sell his technology to a loom company in the United Kingdom, but the values that developed the technology were carried with him. With the focus of helping people and the capital received from the sale, Sakashi's son, Kichori Toyota, was able to begin the Toyota Motor Corporation. The difference in spelling of the company name and family name was a gesture that is supposed to bring good luck to a family business. As the Toyota Motor Corporation grew, the company had been passed down through a line of Toyotas, each maintaining Sakashi's values to grow the company and guide strategic development. Kaizen is the concept of continuous improvement, a desire to always be changing for the better. One example of this practice was Toyota removing executive titles, which were created barriers that prevented frontline workers from reporting their concerns in a timely manner. Genchi Genbutsu is the value of giving appreciation to work performed by frontline workers, reminding executives of the value in seeing things firsthand and the benefits of visiting production centers and dealerships. Lastly, Inshi Niku guides Toyota to create more efficient practices in a way that does not create burdens on the employee. Toyota recognizes how we are all equally limited in productivity by the time we are given, that everyone only has 24 hours. By setting realistic goals and using innovative technologies, Toyota designs jobs to make the most of their employees' time without creating unnecessary burdens. Today, these values have guided Toyota towards bringing happiness to the people by helping them overcome barriers in mobility, producing zero-emission vehicles with sustainable practices, and hands-on research and development to drive innovation and quality. Through Toyota's Mobility for All vision, Toyota has reimagined how mobility affects our daily lives through innovations like self-driving bike repair shops or vehicles designed to support the physically impaired or those with mobility challenges. In the pursuit of sustainability, Toyota has developed and promoted car and battery recycling facilities to reduce the carbon footprint of manufacturing vehicles. As well, Toyota has been developing their line of electric vehicles to suit various consumers. Finally, Toyota continues to find new ways to innovate and improve by maintaining their racing division, giving Toyota engineers first-hand experience on how to improve designs. Within the history of Toyota and the values and mindsets, we explore the recent strategies that Toyota has pursued, aiding its successful international markets. The Toyota Production System, TPS, describes the production systems used by Toyota, which have been developed over many years to provide the quick and efficient production of vehicles. The TPS approach is based on two pillars, one being the concept of Jidoka and the other being just-in-time production. Jidoka is the concept of automation with a human touch. Once Toyota's engineers have designed new components to the exact standards, Toyota finds ways in automating the process that does not compromise the wisdom humans hold over the automated machines. Through repetition and Kaizen, or continuous improvement, processes can be improved, eventually freeing up employee time so they can add value in new ways. The second pillar is just-in-time production. Akio Toyoda, Toyota's current CEO, compares the benefits of just-in-time to that of preparing sushi. An authentic sushi restaurant does not have finished orders waiting in front of the chef, but instead makes each order fresh step by step. The secret to just-in-time is reducing lead time in each step to the process. While it is not feasible to keep every part on hand, Toyota aims to reduce waste by only purchasing what is needed when it is needed, and save time and money by reducing the time and effort spent between steps. To stay current with mobility trends, Toyota has focused on new areas of connected cars, autonomous driving, shared vehicles, and electric power supplies, or CASE for short. Toyota considers these areas to align with the new greatly changing concept of the automobile. Connected refers to the different ways vehicles interact with technology, such as profile syncing, information tracking, and cybersecurity. With the other associated areas, it is important to develop infrastructure that will connect automobiles to other technologies while ensuring reliability and security. Autonomous areas for Toyota include developments in automated driving and AI systems. Toyota's developments aim to create vehicles and information infrastructure that takes the driving barrier out of mobility. Complementing the previous areas, shared initiatives advance Toyota into meeting public transportation needs and growing rideshare services. This initiative inspires new vehicles designed for carrying multiple passengers in the city or designed to interface efficiently with ride-sharing drivers. Lastly, Toyota has been developing their expertise in creative, efficient electric vehicles that meet a variety of customer needs, with an added focus on improving the capacity of fuel cells, which often limit the output of both consumers and commercial use vehicles. Toyota's most recognized accomplishment is the development and distribution of their Prius line of vehicles. Toyota's senior executives sought to improve fuel efficiency and tasked their G21 to reach an unachievable goal by the period's technology standards. Thankfully, one of the company's laboratories was working on hybrid technology that helped Toyota learn the lessons it needed to launch the Prius hybrid vehicle and develop it into a full line. Today, the Prius models are sold in over 90 markets worldwide, with most of their sales being in Japan and the US. While Toyota keeps the Prius name in every market, its advertising practices change, catering to the regional cultures and values. In the US, Toyota Prius commercials tout the civic responsibility in driving a hybrid vehicle, but with an emphasis on the power and performance that comes from an electrical vehicle. In China, Prius is positioned as a diverse city car that drives clean and doesn't pollute. The most adept application of Toyota's technology is their woven city, a prototype city of the future currently under development at the base of Mount Fuji in Japan. The city will operate as a fully connected ecosystem powered by hydrogen fuel cells and inhabited by researchers and full-time residents. The city will act as a living laboratory to test Toyota's new technologies and CASE innovations. Toyota believes that by reducing barriers to mobility, it can encourage human connection. The city will combine traditional Japanese wood joinery with robotic methods to minimize carbon footprint of buildings. Main streets will only be accessible to fully automated zero-emission vehicles, such as Toyota e-pallets for public transportation and commercial activity. To test Toyota's AI technologies, the woven city will also be equipped with human support technologies, such as in-home robotics that checks occupant health and maintains daily needs. Within their philanthropic activities, Toyota also finds marketing success. Toyota is working towards the goal of making the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games the lowest emission games in history, while respecting everyone's uniqueness and diversity. To reach this goal, Toyota will provide over 3,700 mobility products, such as the e-pallet, which will support the movement of staff and athletes around the Olympic and Paralympic Village, with 90% being electric. To cater to accessibility needs, Toyota is supplying accessible people movers, a specialized vehicle designed to assist those with accessibility needs to travel short distances. To help the mobility impaired outside of the games, Toyota will be operating JPN Taxi, a service with accessible designs for a variety of passengers, and the Walking Area BEV, a safe and stable scooter for those facing fatigue. To innovate the delivery of the games themselves, Toyota will provide field service robots, small SUVs the size of a toy with automated driving functions to help field staff with basic duties, such as running across the field with materials. The opportunity of sponsoring these games will help Toyota showcase how their innovations can reinvent mobility and remove barriers.
Now that we've had a chance to discuss Toyota and its strategies, we will discuss the General Motors Company and its origins and strategies today.
The General Motor Company began in 1904 with William Durant in Flint, Michigan, who bought the Buick Motor Company and later came to acquire other companies' manufacturing businesses. Over the next few years, him and his partner Charles acquired bonds like Cadillac and other companies that later would acquire also Ford and struck up a deal, but Durant was unable to secure the financing with all his recent acquisitions. Durant's reckless acquisitions led him to be removed from GM Board of Directors in 1910. He used the opportunity to start the Chevrolet Motor Company, which later we know it becomes a really successful company with Louis Chevrolet, and a Swiss race car driver in the next year. After Louis left the company, Durant found new partners to invest with, and Chevrolet's strong performance allowed them to reacquire controlling interest in GM, consolidating the two companies in 1918. In the late 2000s, GM suffered the wrath of global financial crisis. In 2007, many U.S. leaders had been offered to subprime mortgage loans, offering loan agreements to candidates with poor credit quality. As the volume of these loans grew, they became consolidated into debt obligation packages, which would be sold to different holders around the world as investment profiles. When the French bank BNP suspended 3 of its funds that invested in U.S. mortgage securities, it drew the attention of other banks, opening the securities up to and quick draw. The many defaulting loans and loss of confidence in leading market led to unpricing assets for loan security, and this started a low employment and low spending in luxury cars and vehicles. And in general, it was really bad for the GM company because it hit their core value. As economy around the globe reduced spending and supplying, had reduced production, creating a ripple effect of financial crisis that affected most of the world's economy at the time, where downturns were already expected. In 2009, GM filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, allowing it to continue operating, but sold to completely new holders, with US backing to find public investment and grow profits. Today, GM still holds its primary brand like Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Cadillac, with the majority of its operations in North America for both sales and production. While GM also has subsidiary companies like GM Korea, which formed with Daewoo Group and other partners throughout China and Southeast Asia. GM partnership in Europe, Africa, South Africa ended in 2017 due to strikes, politics, and pure performance. Operations in Australia ceased in 2020 due to poor sales. As GM has such history in US and such struggle to successfully expand abroad internationally, many of its values are within its communities and align with American consumer demands. The company has adopted sustainability practices to help protect the environment and equality projects that focus on diversity and inclusion. These values reflect the current demand of American public for corporate action to injustice. The growth and struggles of GM has shown perseverance and a close relationship to its communities. Now that we discussed GM origins and values, we have context to describe to you why GM has selected its various focuses. So even after recovering from financial crisis, GM is still one of the largest producers of automobiles in the US, with more than 85,000 employees and 100 facilities, with the focus being their headquarters in Detroit. The other largest presence are in Indiana, Ohio, and Texas. As GM's hometown, Detroit is the center of GM's focus, aiming to improve education, sustainable employment, and neighborhood revaluation by offering technical trainings, subsidized housing, and public playgrounds. GM hopes to strengthen their community and grow together. With OnStar, GM has able to diversify their products, offering connected voice and data service, navigation, and emergency services. These services available mostly throughout the US and Canada, but are offered in GM's international markets like Mexico and China. With the response to COVID pandemic in 2020 in the current year, GM has responded to requests for help from government organizations, mobilizing produce millions of face masks and filters throughout the US and Canada. As a proud American company, GM has deep roots in US economy and finds most of its profit within US operation. GM's version for its consumers is zero crash, zero emissions, and zero congestions, aiming to provide consumers with safe, clean, and efficient journey. Worldwide, there are over 1.3 million vehicle facilities each year, and many more injuries. Fatalities, sorry. There are over 1.3 million vehicle fatalities and many other injuries. GM is developing autonomous driving technology like Tesla to help eliminate crash and reduce crashes that are caused by human error, and currently offers sensor equipment to help prevent accidents. GM's zero emission promise is similar to many other automakers, with the goal of finding electric options that reduce emission and GM's overall carbon footprint. With different electric models growing in demand, GM is confident they will continue to eliminate high emission vehicles by offering sustainable alternatives. Finally, zero congestion is connected technology strategy that uses AI system with LiDAR technology to better predict the condition ahead and keep traffic flowing smoothly. As autonomous driving develops, it will not only need to prevent accident, but to arrive efficiently at the destination. GM hopes to reduce time spent traveling for its consumers with this version. While it's difficult to identify a flagship vehicle for GM, Chevrolet is notably their flagship brand. The majority of GM sales come from their Chevrolet line of vehicles, with Silverado truck and other SUV ranking the highest. Of the top 10 vehicles, 6 of them are Chevrolet, with 2 Buick and 2 GMC. The majority of Chevrolet sales come from SUVs and trucks, catering to the American consumers' preferences, of course. Their commercial tout the strength of their design and manufacturing, reflecting industrial America, farms, and rugged-back country. Chevrolet also has a diverse range of electronic vehicles, carrying GM's vision for zero emission with their Chevrolet Spark and Bolt models. Chevrolet uses their car lineup to lead their electric vehicle designs, focusing on the performance, distance, and reliability of electric vehicles. Internationally, GM Korea is one of the GM's most notable subsidiaries, a development from their acquisition of Devo Group in 1998. While the models sold are GM designs, they are slightly customized and given a different name to suit the region, providing local version of domestic success stories. China is GM's second largest market and home to many GM vehicle production facilities, fulfilling the demand of the local sales, local consumers. GM operates under its subsidiary, Shanghai GM, in China, which is a joint venture with SAIC Motor. It's a Chinese motor company. Within the Chinese market, GM produces and sells mostly Buick models as a cultural favorite due to its favor from one of China's late emperors, and Chevrolet models. However, while GM tries to promote electric vehicles, China does not produce the Spark or Malibu like other international operations, and instead produces their own model called Menlo, set to launch in 2021. While funding philanthropic activities, GM invests heavily within its own communities, looking to build innovative minds that will help GM to grow eventually. With a focus on underrepresented and diverse groups, GM funds partnerships with local organizations to provide educational opportunities. The majority of this funding is delivered as grants and scholarship to institutions across the US. These scholarships are designed for students studying science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, and who demonstrate community involvement and mechanical aptitude. Outside of academic institutions, GM works with STEM Reentry Task Force to help individuals who have taken leave from their career gain the skill and connection needed to confidently re-enter the industry. This task force primarily serves women who have taken mental leave. This group was recognized as an untapped source of high caliber professionals who faced obstacles due to stereotypes and biases in the society. GM also partners with Girl Scout of the US to encourage young girls to become interested in automotive engineering, designs, and manufacturing. By doing so, GM hopes to help expose girls to their many career paths, options by giving them opportunities and goals in automotive field.
Between Toyota and General Motors, we see differences in operational strategies and effectiveness. To begin, it's worth noting the difference in size between the two companies and their relative capabilities. Toyota is a much larger company with a longer record of success. Toyota's TPS system is world-renowned, and its philosophies are being adopted into other industries. Toyota is currently the world's leading automaker, even though General Motors still leads in the US. While GM does have a global presence, the global financial crisis in the late 2000s crippled them domestically, and within the last few years, many of their international ventures have ceased operations, shutting down operations in Venezuela, India, and Thailand. Toyota's many international facilities, on the other hand, give it access to skilled talent and production research at such volumes beyond what General Motors could accomplish. This advantage sets Toyota in a much higher league than GM off the get-go. Like many automakers, GM and Toyota have both shifted research and development focus to electric vehicles and autonomous driving. Within their mantras, GM has a unique focus towards zero congestion and reducing traffic. However, Toyota's shared and autonomous focuses combined address the same issue. While GM is developing new battery technologies and autonomous features, Toyota had already developed a full fleet of electric vehicles and autonomous driving features, many of which had already been delivered and tested in market. GM is making the right steps, but Toyota was an early entrant into the market and has had a head start and has been able to acquire much of the market before GM can properly present themselves. To see this exemplified through Toyota's marketing of the Prius, their flagship electric vehicle, To see this exemplified through Toyota's marketing of the Prius, we look at their flagship electric vehicle. Marketed internationally, this vehicle has gained global recognition for its efficiency and design. Both in the US and China, the Prius has strong sales. For General Motors, their many brands carry so many different models that they've diluted their own market, creating such unique designs and models that many are seldom ever produced. In China, GM's second largest market, they have not introduced their Chevrolet Bolt or the Spark, but instead will create another unique model, the Menlo. This strategy reduces brand recognition and adds unnecessary layers of expenses for design and marketing. Within the last few years, GM has also reduced their international operations in an effort to keep the company flexible and financially healthy. In Venezuela, there was political unrest which led to the seizure of their GM plant in Valencia. In India, GM faced strikes over wages and working conditions, choosing to exit the market just to cut the costs. And in Australia, GM recently chose to exit the market and cease operations under the Holden badge. Similar to other markets, GM was failing to realize the sales in Australia that made it necessary for them to continue operations. In contrast, Toyota is attracting international partnerships and investments with their newest innovation, the Woven City. This postmodern society is attracting researchers and professionals from around the globe, allowing them to hone their elite skills and develop astounding technologies. This investment will give Toyota a globally unique asset as a corporation and undoubtedly lead to exponential progress. Within their philanthropic activities, Toyota has demonstrated their belief in the power of the people, sponsoring teams and events that will give them international exposure and an opportunity to share the features of their vehicles with international athletes, delegates, and visitors. While GM's investment in the community is admirable, it reflects the habits of a company that still needs to invest in its own environment. Perhaps if the financial crisis had not been so consequential to General Motors and the US, GM would still have the resources needed to compete on the same level as Toyota. The international success of a company does not come from a simple formula, but from a collection of efforts and advantages that compound to create success. While General Motors leads the US market, they are unable to compete globally. The company is still growing within its home market and is only now creating their own technologies where other automakers are refining their applications. While the advancements are necessary for any major player, they are only the beginning steps in a race that has a wide spread. GM's brand is growing, but with an extended ladder of subsidiaries to operate under, the company's branding had become so diluted and the hierarchies created so many barriers that the international control and communications were compromised. With continued investment and growth, GM may one day reach the same level as Toyota, but for now, it's just not there yet. By continuing to invest in themselves and their community, GM may one day learn what it needs to succeed internationally, but for today, Toyota's the winner in this contest. Thank you.